Happy Friday. We have been on an extended break this week from Paul's little prison epistle to the Christians in Colossae. We'll go back to that next week, but I have been, I just scribbled down a handful of things that were racing around in my head early this week, or last week, I guess, because I filmed these on Thursday, and just have been sharing them with you. So today, we've been in Mark, I think we were in Matthew 10, Mark 10, and 1 Corinthians 10. Today, we're in Ephesians 2, and it's just the classic Ephesians 2, 8 and 9. For by grace we've been saved through faith, not of ourselves. It is a gift of God, not as a result of works, lest anyone boast. So this is just, I just want to reflect for a moment on grace, because yesterday's devotional thought was on how broken we are, which is a bad thought, and I said, you know, God is more gracious than that, but I want to just go back, and I want you to be a little bit scandalized by how amazing God's grace is. If you aren't a little bit scandalized by grace, then I think you're not going far enough in your thinking. So one writer writing about grace, Paul Zoll, I don't know him, but wrote down his definition of grace. Grace is love that seeks you out when you have nothing to give in return. Grace is love coming at you that has nothing to do with you. Grace is being loved when you are unlovable. The cliche definition of grace is unconditional love. So unconditional love is a cliche, but it is what we are talking about. So let me go a little bit further. Grace is love that has nothing to do with you. The one loved. The object of love is not actually important in this equation at all. The grace, the important one in this equation is the lover. Grace is irrational in the sense that it has nothing to do with the merits of the object loved. This is one of the things that I try and stress to people when they're getting married. The love you're signing up for is, I am going to love you, not because you're lovable, not because of the things that you can do for me, not because of the fact that, whatever. I am committed to loving you. That's the vow that I am taking, the covenant that I am entering into. We are loved by God, not on the basis of who we are or what we've done, not on the basis of our contributions, our intrinsic qualities, our gifts. Grace reflects a decision on the part of the giver, the one who loves, in relation to the receiver, the one who is loved, that negates any of the qualifications of the receiver. Grace is one-way love. Grace is love that doesn't make any demands. It just gives. And from our vantage point, grace generally pursues the wrong person. We see this over and over in the Gospels. The grace of God is being extended to the tax collectors. These are traitorous sellouts. It goes to the tax collectors, the lepers, the prostitutes, the other undesirables. The most extravagant sinners of Jesus' day receive the most compassionate welcome by Jesus. So I mentioned I was reading this genre of literature by fallen pastors. So one fallen pastor, sort of processing on all of this, writes, grace is a divine vulgarity that stands caution on its head. It refuses to play it safe and lay it up. Grace is recklessly generous, uncomfortably promiscuous. It doesn't use sticks, carrots, or time cards. It doesn't keep score. As Robert Capone puts it, grace works without requiring anything on our part. It's not expensive. It's not even cheap. It's free. It refuses to be controlled by our innate sense of fairness, reciprocity, and even-handedness. It defies logic. It has nothing to do with earning merit or deservedness. It is opposed to what is owed. It doesn't expect a return on investment. It's a liberating contradiction between what we deserve and what we get. Grace is unconditional acceptance given to an undeserving person by an unobligated giver. It is one-way love. And I just want you to think about that, and I want you to rest in that. I want you to relax in that, to be overwhelmed by the fact that our salvation is contingent upon Christ. Our salvation, we are rescued 100% by God's grace and mercy and not by our own merit. And so I realize, we're trained to be suspicious of these kind of offers and deals. And so it ends up that we just keep trying to prove, and we can't. And so I want to encourage you to rest in the radical, promiscuous, unthinkable, scandalous, gracious love of God this weekend. And have a good weekend.